Football 101 with Coach Bret Bielema. Brought to you by Carl, the official health provider of Fighting Illini Athletics.
Welcome back to Football 101. Martin O'Donnell, joined here as always by Coach Bret Bielema. And Coach, it was a lot of fun last Saturday. You know, really only the third time in 50 years Illinois has beaten a top 10 team on the road. What does that mean to the guys in the program now and, you know, other guys you're talking to about joining the program in the future?
A lot of positives, obviously. In today's world, right, perception is reality more than ever. And to do that, it meant a lot to our players. I talked all week about the 74 guys hopping on that plane, being able to accomplish something they prepared to do, and they went out and did it. And then to see the post-game celebration, obviously social media. But I thought a lot about it. I saw kids, there was a few parents that were there, but I saw all those kids on their phones after the game and a lot of smiles. And, you know, I don't know if they're talking to their girlfriend, their mom and dad, their uncle, their aunt, their grandma, their grandpa. But this game is bigger than just a player, right? Like parents and grandparents love to see their kids have success. And that definitely happened on Saturday, and so you're happy for a lot of people.
Well, and obviously going to 9 overtimes, you know, certainly that's strength and conditioning. That's also nutrition. You know, we're standing here in front of the Costanzo Family Nutrition Center in the Smiths Football Performance Center. What do you guys use this for? Yeah. How is it used?
Great thing, Martin. We fellow nutrition lovers, right? Like this is usually stockpiled before the game with proactive recovery at halftime, post-game, you know, during the halftime post-game recovery. A lot of times meals will be sitting out here that we have provided, brought in during odd hours if we're having a night meeting. There's obviously nutrition, sandwiches, anything you name it. It's become such a world in where our players train, and you can't out-train a bad diet, right? So we try to fuel them as much as we can. The NCAA about 10 years ago changed the rule, which allowed them to have endlessly supplied fueling, which is basically food and water and beverages, and that's what this station's all about.
Yeah, I remember back in my day, we just had to stock up on bagfuls of Nutri-Grain bars. So it's certainly come a long way, which is great. But, you know, one of the great things, one of the fun things about the game against Penn State last week before we look ahead to Rutgers is a lot of guys involved in the game plan. A lot of different guys involved. Obviously, we brought additional, you know, offensive linemen out there, the barge package, Whopper package, I don't know what you're calling it. But getting extra guys involved there, Jakari Norwood at the end of the game, other guys rolling through. What does that mean to get other guys involved in the game plan, but also kind of the depth of the roster and how they're rolling through?
2 freshman offensive linemen have been involved this year. First was Josh Kreutz a couple weeks back. We put him in as a tight end in a big package. And this last week, I believe Zach Barlow got 24 reps. And those are invaluable about where we're going in the future, right? But it wasn't just the offensive linemen. We had Miles Scott got in at the wide receiver position. Dylan Rosiak didn't get in the defense side of the ball, but he prepared all week and are ready to get out there on the field. We're just constantly trying to sprinkle in some of the underclassmen, new faces, so when we get to next season, it's not their first rodeo. And that's worth its weight in gold. But I would tell you the biggest thing for me, and you know this as a former player, we lost Vidarian Lowe. Pilstrom comes in and does an unbelievable job. We lose Chase Brown at the end of the game. Reggie Love, with continuation of obviously Josh popped into it. A simple thing like Art Sikowski goes down in the middle of the overtime and BP comes back off the bench. So it wasn't just about the starters we had, it was the guys that were able to come in.
Yeah, well, no, absolutely, and certainly, you know, 9 overtimes, but, you know, line of scrimmage starts right there. You know, the offensive line, you mentioned some of those guys did a nice job, Chase Brown, Josh McCray rushing, but also the defensive side. Yeah. You know, the interior guys might not get as much publicity as other people, but Keith Randolph, Johnny Newton, Rod Perry, what did you see from them last Saturday?
It was unbelievable. So we took a couple clips on Friday and showed them during the week of practice how our defensive line was playing with great extension, and that carried into the game immediately. The first play of the game, I showed it on Sunday. The same thing we saw Friday in practice film is the same thing we saw Sunday in post game. I thought really Keith, Johnny, and Rod played as well as they have all year long in the interior defensive line. Linebackers behind them, Kalen Tolson, Tariq Barnes were absolutely phenomenal. So a lot of good guys getting good quality reps.
Well, and another Big Ten conference game here coming up, Rutgers, you know, coming to Memorial Stadium in Champaign. But, you know, it reminds me a little bit of the situation earlier this season. Nebraska, have a great game. Everybody's talking about you. Come out, play a UTSA team that's very tough, you know, wind up losing that game. What can you gain from that experience here?
Without a doubt, Martin. I brought it was the last thing we talked about Sunday at our post-game meetings was, listen, I should have done this better at the beginning of the year after Nebraska. That game is behind us. It was great to experience it. It was great to be a part of it, but we need to move forward, right? So we actually changed our meeting schedule on Sunday to kind of turn the page to Rutgers, because I know we're going to do it in the building, but when they go out there, when they go out in the community, and all of a sudden at class, maybe they're a little bit more popular. Mom and dads are a little bit more excited on Wednesday and Thursday about last week's game. For us in this building, when they come over and fuel at the station, when they go in there and work out in the weight room, when they're in these meeting rooms, they got to concentrate on Rutgers and get themselves in the right position.
Well, and looking forward to another Big Ten tilt. So thank you for your time, Coach, and thanks for stopping by Football 101.
Football 101 with Coach Bret Bielema. Brought to you by Carl, the official health provider of Fighting Illini Athletics.